Hello, how are you? My name is Lok Tin Yong. This is my website. We are going to talk about some Feng Shui. Feng Shui. Feng Shui is a Chinese culture or a Chinese ancient wisdom for living and also for the death as well, like burial places. So from this time on, hopefully we can going to do some basic principle of Feng Shui and let you know what is really Feng Shui is, and hopefully it will benefit you. So let's talk about this Feng Shui. Feng Shui. In fact, quite a few people that ask me how to pronounce it because in China, we have Mandarin, Cantonese, and some dialect. So if you understand, that's all right. You don't need to be so particular about in Mandarin, it's called Feng Shui. And Cantonese, Feng Shui. And Chaozhou is Huang Zui. Okay? Or, Hakka, also different pronunciation. But that's all right. When you say Feng Shui, Feng Shui, Feng Shui, people understand. So in this case, doesn't really matter how you want to call it. As long as you call me, say, I want my home Feng Shui done. Okay, no problem. We can organize for it. For talking about Feng Shui, everything, every study, every issue, every big thing, every difficult thing, they start from small, from very beginning. So from the very beginning will be like stems and branch. So in study Feng Shui, we need to study the stem and branch. Stem and branch, heavenly stem, earthly branch is the 甲乙丙丁戊己庚辛壬癸，而子丑寅卯辰巳午未辛酉戌亥。Or in Cantonese will be 甲乙丙丁戊己庚辛壬癸 or 子丑寅卯辰巳午未申酉戌亥. So there are different pronunciation. That's okay, no problem. We will go back to it, and when in later on we will talk about what they mean, what they represent for. Now we should talk about some history of Feng Shui. History of Feng Shui. In the official records, there are some records in the book of poet or 诗经 西经. In the 诗经 西经, there's record many songs. These songs is they sing in the different area in countryside. So Confucius also, sent a student to collect all those poems and then compile into a book called named 诗经 or the 西经, Book of Songs. So if you Google Book of Songs, that will come up, to some information if you're interested. And there are a lot of beautiful poetry in there. Poetry in there. So the first one is 关雎. Okay, but if you're English speaking, maybe you don't understand. But if you're Chinese speaking or you have studied this 關雎before, this 關雎鳩在河之洲，窈窕淑女，君子好逑 means there's a bird chasing another bird. So it symbolizes a man chasing a girl, a beautiful girl. 窈窕 means a very nice looking girl, so every gentleman would like to, trace for her. That's the first song. However, in these books, they have some record about Feng Shui and stem and branch. For example, there's a sentence. So in 诗经, they have sentence such like this. Actually, the name of that poetry is called 己日. 己日. 己日 means auspicious day. Auspicious day. And what it say is that 己日庚午忌财火马. So what that means is like in an auspicious day, in an auspicious yang metal horse day, I choose my horse. So that's in that book of poem. It had this sentence. And then in another one, it's called, well, the 10th month. The 10th month, October. October is in the English one, but the 10th of lunar month. The 10th of lunar month, what is say that the poet is say, 十月之交. So 10th month it is new moon day. So book of poem, book of poetry or book of songs or 诗经, they recorded from the 11th century to 7th century BC. So it's about 3,000 years old. And in the book already have the auspicious day, metal horse day, and it's related to the horse. And then October in this poetry is talking about the new moon is the in metal rabbit day. So this is some record we can trace about the stems and branch. What about Feng Shui? Okay, in that book of songs, there are one particular songs talking about the moving the capital. It is called a Gong Liu Ping. So maybe for those who are interested, you can look it up. Gong Lao. In the Gong Lao Ping, one of this poetry, one paragraph is talking about this Gong Lao. Gong Lao is kind of like a leader. He's leading his people to move to other area. So in this the whole paragraph describes him. He's finding the place. He's looking at the humidity, looking at the sunlight, looking at the yin and yang. So that is, we believe that's the very early record about Feng Shui. And then Feng Shui evolved to the Han Dynasty. Han Dynasty is about 200 BC, and then we to the Han, and then we have the Jin, Jin, J-I-N, I think it's Jin. To the Jin Dynasty there. Right, so in Jin Dynasty, which is 265 to 420 AD, in this era, in this time, we have Feng Shui master. His name is Guo Po or Guo Pu. Guo Po. Guo Po. So he wrote a book called Book of Burial or Zhang Su, Book of Burial. So you can Google Book of Burial online. There are English translation as well. You want to read about it. The Book of Burial talk about the basic principle of Feng Shui, why Feng Shui works. So, and it explains what is the qi or energy. Or so the starting will be 庄成生氣也. 符陰陽之氣，以為風聲，以為雲降，以為雨，行乎地中為之生氣。So it talk about that what is qi. So qi is the yin yang qi. So the qi rise from the ground up to the sky, become cloud, and then come down as rain. And this rain, they seep into into the ground and moving inside. So this is called qi. And with this qi, everything grows. Okay. So that's one thing. Talk about the qi. And then he talk about the man. Our man, we as men, our body, we have life. Our body is given by our parents, and the qi. And what the qi, it become the bones of our body. After we die, only the bone left. So the burial technique is we will bury our ancestor in a good burial spot place, with a good landform. Okay, Feng Shui landform. We will talk about it later as well. So don't worry, just be patient. So talk about if you bury in a good landform area, then this qi, the nature, the qi can go into the bone, and this bone will resonate with their offsprings. So it's in Chinese it's called the Gen Yin. And then he talk about 3 examples. They say 同生西班靈中東形, meaning the copper mountain fell down. The east side, the bell toll. That means they resonate. 木華於春，粟芽於濕. The wood in spring they grow, and the grain they also have the sprouts come out in the timing season. So Guo Po write this book, 藏书 or book of burial, and then come down, to pass it down. In between there's some master. And for Feng Shui, when you come to the Tang Dynasty, to tour the Tang Dynasty is developed very well in Tang Dynasty, particularly to the end of Tang Dynasty. To the end of Tang Dynasty, we respect as a Feng Shui great master. His name is Yang Xun Song. Yang Xun Song. So from in Tang Dynasty, Tang Dynasty, it's 618 to 907. It actually is very booming time in Tang Dynasty. So actually Chinatown, everywhere in Chinatown, like Melbourne or Sydney or in Canada, America, they call Tang Yan Gai, Tang Main Street, Tang. So in that time, Tang is already spread the name around the world because there's a Silk Road back then. So toward the end of the Tang Dynasty, we have a great master, Yang Xun Song. Yang Xun Song. Yang Yuen Song. So he, great master, he's looked after the Tang Dynasty. They are all the Feng Shui, the day selection thing. Toward the end, there were a riot called Wang Cao Ji Lun. So he took the books and then moved from Xi'an, the Xi'an, the terracotta warrior there. They were ancient capital. So he moved to Jiangxi. Jiangxi is a province. So Jiangxi is here, then that's Fujian, and that's Canton or Guangdong. Okay, so it's more like the 3 provinces there, the border of the 3 So he stayed there in the place called San Liao, and then that's why in this area the feng shui is from Tang onward it's very people know feng shui, and then very much into feng shui and very emphasized in feng shui. We can talk about some other feng shui story as well. We have plenty of time. Melbourne's in lockdown, don't worry. So in Jiangxi, when Yang Xunsong stayed in Jiangxi, he taught three students. Chen Wensan, Chen Wen, I think it's actually A, something like that. Chen Wensan, and then Liao Sai San, and then Liu Jiang Dong. So our lineage line is from Liu Jiandong line. These three students, they were rules for the when I teach you something, there's rules. So the first, the Zhang Wensan family and the Liao family, they can only pass down to their own children, own offspring, their son, grandson, and then pass on. For Liu Jiandong, lineage of Liu Jiandong is allowed to teach other surnames, other different surnames in feng shui. So has many good feng shui master around in Song Dynasty. So Liu Jiandong lived toward the Song Dynasty as well. So he did, and nowadays we can still find Liu Jiandong's burial place, great master's burial place, and there's many feng shui story behind as well. So from Liu Jiandong onward, Liu Jiandong actually teach his son-in-law. Is Tang, it's a Tang. Han, Man, Mo. For those who don't know Chinese, don't worry. Just a history. If you know a little bit about history, that's okay. You don't need to go into very detail into it. So our lineage is from Liu Jiandong, and so we are Liu Jiandong lineage. So I am the 39th generation holder. So we have the Liu Jiandong technique. My master, of course, is 38. My grandmaster is 37, and they are still teaching in China. My grandmaster, his surname also Liu. Okay, his surname also Liu, and he in 1968, during that time there were, in China there were Cultural Revolution, and he was sent to this Sanliao area, and he meets a lot of people there, and everyone in Sanliao or in Jiangxi around the area, they say they know feng shui. So finally, my great grandmaster, he met Liu Jiandong's 36th generation lineage. So this Liu taught great master, and the great master taught my master, and my master taught me. So I'm the 39th generation holder. For students who already learned from me, in Australia there's about 20 odd people, and most of them they're consultant. they know if they come to study my course, they straight away they say this is a real thing. This is the the real technique, real feng shui, because our system, our technique is different from others. Like the others who maybe you have the 8-mention system, 5-star, the Sanhe, the Sanhe system, San Yuen, and we are San Yuen Yuen Gua, San Yuen Yuen Gua. San 3 Yuen Yuen Gua. So what's that mean? It's the original. That's the original 24 mountain. How we manipulate the energy of the original 24 mountain before we do, let's say, 8-mention formula, or flying star formula, or even Sanhe formula, or there's other system of the 大圆空, 大悬空 system. So once you understand the fundamental, actually we, our system, can add in 8-mention system, add in 5-star, add in the Dagua, everything can work together. Actually, there's no conflict. There is no conflict, I am sure you. And of course, you may be a bit skeptical. Of course, you say that too. But, my students, they are consultant and they have already done a lot of great result for their client. Unfortunately, we cannot show you our own group. We have our internal feng shui discussion group with our own technique. So it's a private, Facebook group. For those join the course to study with me, I'll put it in the group, and you can ask questions, because everyone we work on the same principle. There's no, conflict about it. If it is sugar, it's sweet. If it's salt, it's sharp. It's salty. So let's not say, oh, well, there's a lot of argument out there about facing 8-mention. Even the 8-mention, there's 3 methods to put out the start. The 三五年六和天注伏 that start they call Yao Ni, the rendering year start. One is some system they use facing, some system uses sitting, some system use the door location. So they have some conflict in between. But once you understand the Yuen Gua, Yuen original, the original 24 mountain, then whether this Yuen Gua or star or 5-star can be used or not, you will know. It will make you much clearer. And the system I use is also produce a lot of good result for my client. If you have visited my website, I write some testimonial there. If you visited my Facebook, I screen capture the text sent from the client. They tell me after I do the feng shui for them, they have some improvement on that. Okay, so this is basically the lineage of our feng shui. So we will start something from the history point of view, and then we will slowly start into the different area of feng shui. In feng shui, there is 4 areas need to study. 4 areas, which is the in Mandarin 行理法课, Cantonese is 形理法課, okay? In English it's form, so we will look at the forms, the ways, or the li qi, which is the compass li qi, and then ways, what way, how we implement this li qi, how to activate this li qi. And 4 ke means day selection. So ideally, we have these 4 work together. In terms of forms, 形, forms, there's no argue about it. Lots of, no matter which school of Feng Shui you're coming from, they will be say, green dragon is a green dragon, white tiger is a white tiger, a bed turtle is a bed turtle, phoenix or warbird or meantime is a meantime. They have no argument about this. So form is more, everyone is more agree with the forms. But when it comes to the Liqi or compass formula, there's a lot of different water formula. They have 符星水法、符星三合水法、三元水法、三元 water method. There's lots of different methods there. And then the way, how to implement them, how to activate. You activate by water, or where do you activate? How do you activate? Where do you measure the point? This is very important, because sometimes if you measure incorrectly, it will bring very bad result. You're not bringing the good result. And then day selection, to increase the energy, to utilize the heaven energy, the sun, the moon, the energy. So those are 4 areas. These are 4 areas of for Feng Shui. So it has a lot to study, and lots of classical texts as well. So hopefully, we can slowly introduce some basic foundation, and then if you're interested, you can always come to study from me.